What is up, everyone, and welcome to module number 4 of the Wholesale Academy. In these next series of videos, we are going to discuss one of the more important milestones of wholesale, and that is knowing how to buy the right products. So now that you guys have an understanding of how to open accounts, the next thing that is going to happen is you are going to get access to tons of price lists, tons of catalogs, Excel files, websites with thousands and thousands of products available for you guys to purchase. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but most of these products are going to suck. That's why it is very important to know the type of things that you should be looking for when doing product research, to know how to look for those things, and how to hopefully make educated buying decisions so that we can make the most out of our inventory purchases. Now, in this video, which is titled Sourcing 101, I am going to give you the basic foundational knowledge for the type of things that we can look at when assessing a product and how exactly to do that process and how to look for those things. So let's dive right into it. Sourcing 101. So first thing is first, once you receive product pricing from a supplier, the next step is going to be to run the numbers by finding those products on Amazon and determining which ones are popular and profitable. Now, product research can be done either manually, or you can do product research with the help of third-party list scanning software. So when we are researching a price list or a catalog or a website from a distributor, what we are looking to do is to find the exact items from your price list on Amazon, find the ones that are popular, the ones that are ranked well, the ones that are selling well, find out what they are selling for and what would be our profit if we were on the listing selling for the same amount. When we have that information, we can then use all the additional data at our fingertips that we have to determine which products would make sense for us to buy. And you can do this process manually, which means basically you take your list and you just look up those products on Amazon one by one and be very thorough. Or you can do this process with a software where you basically upload your price lists with UPC numbers and you upload it into the software, and these softwares will scan Amazon for those UPC numbers for those products and give you results with profits, with ranks that you can then look through, filter through, and make your buying decisions that way. So in the beginning, guys, I always recommend for everyone to scan their price lists manually. If you have been following me for any deal of time, you know that I am a big proponent of this. Going through a price list and looking up the products on Amazon and calculating the profits by hand does take a lot more time to do, but it is also much more thorough and allows you to make better buying decisions. More importantly, though, in the beginning, it is super important to learn how to recognize good products, profitable products manually, because if you don't know how to find them without software, I promise you guys are not going to be able to find them with software. So you really need to be, get to a point where you are able to do your research as though every software company out there went out of business, and you can still go through products and find them and figure out what's what. When you know how to do that, then you can move on and use software and fully utilize it. And I will tell you guys, I cannot drive this point home enough. One of the things that I attribute my success to in the beginning when I started, I didn't know of any list scanning softwares. I was doing everything manually. I was, taking these price lists and these catalogs, and as big as they were, I was going on Amazon and just, sorting them by brand and doing it that way. And yes, it took a lot longer, but the education that I got, the experience that I got by being on the Amazon marketplace, by looking up, the Keepa data and every listing one by one and seeing what the competition is, what the prices are, what the fees are, using the Amazon calculator, doing that whole process by hand gave me such a tremendous education into how marketplaces work, the Amazon marketplace, and how marketplace competition on Amazon works. It's really priceless. It's one of the best educations that you can get. It's definitely more valuable than any course that you can buy. So don't take it for granted, guys. If you don't know how to do product research manually and you're not good at it, don't move on to a software. Do it first, if only for the educational aspect. I promise you guys will thank me for it down the road. And again, software is much faster. I personally use software now. I know sometimes you get these really big, 50,000 product lists, and I know it takes forever to do it manually. I'm just saying you need to understand. You need the understanding of how everything works under the surface first to properly be able to utilize things like scanning softwares. And in this module, I am going to show you how to do it both ways. I'm going to show you how to do it multiple ways. I am going to show you how to go through these lists by hand. I am going to show you how to go through these lists with scanning softwares, and some of the more popular softwares that people like to use are Tactical Arbitrage, Price Checker 2, AMZ Analyzer, Scan Unlimited. There's, a ton of them out there. We'll try to cover a bunch of them going forward. I'm even planning on making my own personal custom-built scanning software that I use in my business. I'm planning on making that available to all of you guys. It should be ready soon, and as soon as it's ready, of course, I'll upload a video on how I use that to find products when it's ready. But we are going to cover everything in this module in regards to finding the right products for us to buy. Now, another thing that we are going to cover in module number 4 is what kind of products to look for. What kind of product should you buy? And it sounds simple. What kind of product should you buy? Well, you should buy profitable products, but it's not always that simple of a question. It's not always that easy of a question because it's different for everyone. Depending on your circumstances, you can be looking at higher, margin products, or maybe you should be looking at lower margin products, different buying styles, etc. So, when someone asks me what type of product should I buy, what type of return should I be aiming for, what kind of selling style should I have? Should I be looking for, more niche, higher margin products? Should I do the whole low ROI, faster turn type style? Well, it all depends on a number of different variables, on a number of different things. And those are things like, for example, how much capital do you have? So, for example, the more capital you have, the more buying power you have, the lower ROI you can shoot for. If you're starting out with, a ton of capital, if you're starting out with 50,000, 100,000, if you're starting out with $1 million, you can definitely, buy a ton of these low ROI, fast turn products, products that might make 10, 12, 13%, 9%. but they might sell $1 million, $2 million worth a year, and you might make 10% on that, so that's good money, but you can't buy and keep those products in stock if they're selling 100, 200,000 worth a month and you only have 3-4 grand to start out with. You can't buy those kind of products and keep them in stock. So again, that's one of the things. It depends on how much capital do you have in stock, how much capital do you have. The more capital you have, the lower ROI you can shoot for. If you have less capital, you should definitely be aiming for products that are a little bit more higher ROI. If you have less money to spend, you should definitely be a little more discerning, a little more conservative with what you're buying. Another thing to take into consideration is how much space do you have? So, it takes sometimes, if you're buying fast turn items, sometimes it takes lots of space to process a low ROI, high turnover type of business. You might need employees, you might need a big warehouse. Sometimes it takes a lot of assets and a lot of things to move those kind of products. So are you selling from your garage? Are you starting out new and are you from home? All these things are things that you should consider when figuring out what type of product should you be buying. Another thing you should consider is how much time do you have? How much time are you putting into the business? How much time are you going to be, prepping products and sourcing products? So these are definitely all things that you should consider and things that we will cover in this module. But what works best for me personally is kind of a mix of both. So we do a good amount of lower margin, high turnover products. Again, one of the reasons for that is because we have the buying power to do it. To do the low margin, high turnover thing, you definitely need a little bit more capital. But I also actively look for and pursue the more higher margin niche products as well, and products that may be higher ranked but have listings that can be improved upon, or some of these more niche products from smaller brands that I can kind of work my way in, get in contact with the brand owners, build a relationship with. A lot of times you can't do that with these super big, high turnover, low ROI, type of business products. So that's kind of what works for me, a mix of both. In the beginning, again, the less capital you have to start, be a little bit more concerning, look for things that are a little bit more on the higher margin stuff. And then if you have more buying power, if you have a little bit more capital, then you can start to look at things like the lower margin, higher turnover type of products and stuff like that. All right, so moving forward, how to identify potential products. And this, guys, is just going to be a list of a bunch of different data points, a bunch of different things that we could look at, that we need to look at when, making a potential investment, when making a potential product. These are just not even all, but these are some of the things that we need to be looking at when we're doing our research and identifying potential products. So when you get a list from a distributor, from a brand owner, you get a catalog, you have an Excel spreadsheet, you get a website with pricing, whatever it is, there's a number of different things that you want to look for, that you want to check, that you want to analyze. But the first thing for me that I want to look at is, can we sell this product on Amazon? And, at this point, it's kind of a no-brainer, but if you're new, this is definitely something that you want to consider. You don't want to spend a bunch of time doing research and looking at price lists if you can't even sell that brand or that category or those products on Amazon. And you see I have in parentheses next to, can we sell this product on Amazon, category, brand gated, hazmat, etc. These are all things that you want to check at, and eventually, once you go through the process, you'll be able to just look at products most of the time and realize, is this something we can sell? Is this something you want to sell? But is this the type of product that is allowed to be sold on Amazon? Is it in a brand or a category that we can list? Is it something that is considered a dangerous good? Is it hazmat? Or if you don't know what hazmat is, that means hazardous materials. So you can't really FBA those kind of products. So that's the first thing we want to look at. And I'll show you guys, for those of you who are new, how to check if you can sell a particular item on Amazon. And simply put, the way to check if you can sell a product on Amazon is by trying to list it. So let me go to Amazon really quick, and I have a bunch of examples pulled up. You guys can see this. This is a Samsung microphone. And very simply, the way to see if you could sell this item is you copy the ASIN, which is down here somewhere. There it is. You copy the ASIN on the product page, and you go to Amazon and you attempt to list the product, and it's going to either tell you you can sell it, or you are going to need to request approval. Another thing is, guys, with this RevSeller app over here, the RevSeller Chrome extension, we have two little buttons over here, and this is very, very helpful. You can have this button that you can click to see if a particular item is hazmat, or you have this button over here to see if you can sell this item as new. And all it's going to do, it is going to take you to the list a product page on your Amazon Seller Central account. So for example, I am going to click it. It is going to bring me to the add a product page. Here it is right over here. Click the listing limitations apply, and you can see over here it says sell yours, and that means we can sell it. If we were not able to sell it, it would say request approval or approval required, something along those lines. And again, if you don't have RevSeller, or if you're in like one of the Amazon marketplaces that RevSeller does not work, very simply, you just go to your inventory and you can do, add a product, and that's where you would go, and you would just paste the ASIN over here, and you can see if you can sell it, and over here it says sell yours. I'll give you another example of what an item looks like where you can't sell it. And this is this Kenra item. It's a hairspray item, but I will just show you taking it and pasting it in here. It says listing limitation applies, and over here it doesn't say sell yours, it says request approval. And if your account has been around for a little while, you can request approval, and oftentimes you will get a auto approval, and it'll say your selling application has been approved. Or in this case, it says, Kenra branded products, you need approval to sell them. I'll click request approval. It'll either auto approve me, or it'll give me a selling application, and it'll tell me that I need either an invoice from a manufacturer or distributor, or a letter from Kenra authorizing you to sell their products. So that's how you check if you can sell a product, if you're not gated in a particular brand or category or something like that. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is how to check if an item is hazmat, if an item is hazardous materials. And for those of you who don't know much about hazmat, basically you can't FBA all products, but things that are hazardous are things like hairsprays, things like aerosol type of sprays, products with alcohol in them, so perfumes, colognes, things that are flammable. That's considered hazardous materials, and you can't normally FBA those kind of products. Harsh chemicals, cleaning chemicals, hair dyes, bleaches, things like that are often considered hazmat. And the way to check if a product is hazmat or not is by trying to add it to an FBA shipment, or by going to Seller Central and looking it up in the dangerous goods tool. And I'll show you guys how to do that as well. So This item, the Kenra item, it's a hairspray, and I already know that anything that is aerosol like this, like a hairspray type of thing, is going to be hazardous material. But you would check by either adding it, and it might let me list it, but you really don't know if you can FBA it unless you add it into an FBA shipment. Or Amazon now has a new tool called the Dangerous Goods tool that you can copy and paste the ASIN. So let's grab the ASIN, and it is going to tell you if any particular item is hazardous or not. Again, RevSeller makes this process easy. They have these two buttons over here, and I think by default it goes red if it suspects that this is a hazardous item. So over here you can click the hazmat question mark item. We're going to click it, and it's going to take us to Seller Central, to the Dangerous Goods Identification Guide, and Amazon has this little Dangerous Goods tool where you can look up an ASIN, you can press next, you can paste the ASIN in here, and you can check the status of any product, and it will tell you if it is a dangerous good or not. So over here it says this product is dangerous goods. So unless you're part of the special hazmat FBA program, you are not going to be able to sell this item doing FBA the normal way. So if someone sends you a list of a whole bunch of hairsprays, it's good to be able to know, can we sell these kind of products on Amazon? And again, guys, if you don't have the RevSeller app, just go to Amazon Seller Central, type in Dangerous Goods, and it'll bring this up right here. Check if a product is dangerous good, look up the ASIN, hit next, paste it, check status, and it will tell you if a product is dangerous goods, and this product is in fact dangerous goods. So that's how you check that. How to check if you are ungated in a particular category or subcategory, kind of the same way, by trying to list a product in that category. So if you don't know if you're ungated in beauty topicals, for example, just find an ASIN, try to list it, and it'll tell you if you need approval for a particular brand, for a particular category. And there's also a selling applications tool on Amazon. So if you go into the search bar and you type in selling applications, and you'll see we have the selling applications tool. And over here, you can see all the categories, all the subcategories that you are approved in. If anything is not here, that means you are not approved in it. And just a reminder, if you guys are new to the business and gated in a lot of categories, pause this video and make a note for yourself that you should go to the continuing education section of the program and watch the videos on getting ungated. Very important if you don't understand how the whole category gating process works on Amazon. So there are going to be videos there. And if again, if you're new to the business, go to the continuing ed section and watch the ungating videos. In the meantime, however, you can start selling within categories that are open or categories that you are already ungated in. So that's the first thing we need to look at. Can we sell this product on Amazon before we dive deeper into doing a bunch of product research? So when you get a list, if you for whatever reason contacted a company that specializes in perfumes and colognes, and they send you that list, it's very important to know whether or not you can or can't sell the stuff before you invest a bunch of time and effort into going through that list and researching it. So that's the first thing we look at. Can we or can we not sell these particular products on Amazon? Now, the next thing we look at is the current product rank. And I want to give you guys examples. I know this is very simple and it's redundant, but I just want to show you guys the current product rank. Let me close some of these windows. So current product rank, very simple. If you're using RevSeller, it'll tell you what the rank is over here at the top of the page. Otherwise, on any Amazon listing, if you scroll down, it'll say that this is ranked number 3,734 in musical instruments. And rank, product rank, is of course something that we take into account when making our decisions on whether or not we want to buy a particular product. I will tell you guys this, a lot of times the product page displays multiple ranks. So it'll tell you what the bestseller rank is in the overall category, which is musical instruments. In this case, this product is ranked 3,734, and then it'll give you the subcategory rank. So this product is ranked number 53 in multi-purpose condenser microphones. The tip that I want to give to you guys is we never pay attention to the subcategory rank. The only rank that we really care about is the rank in the main category, which in this example is musical instruments. So that's how you look up a product rank on Amazon. Even more important than the current product rank, this is much more important than the current product rank, it is the average product rank. Even though you might be looking at a product that, today is ranked number 1,000, if the average over the course of the last year, the product is ranked 60,000, 70,000, 100,000, and it just so happens to, maybe someone bought 4 pieces of the item yesterday and all of a sudden, the rank spiked. We want to look at and focus more on what the average product ranked is over a period of time than just what the particular product rank is today. So let me show you guys how to look at average product rank. And you can see here I also wrote in parentheses, 90 to 100 day historical average and beyond is what I look at. I tend to look at, what the average rank is over the last 90 days and then kind of get an idea of what the average rank is over the last year. Those are the 2 bits of data that I look at when, analyzing a potential product. And one of the tools that I use to do that is Keepa. So I'll show you guys how to do that. So this product has a rank, today's rank of 3,734, but if you use the Keepa extension, you can see here's the Keepa graph on this product, and the Keepa graph actually is going to show what the rank is with the green, these green up and down chart right here. And if you hover the mouse over sales rank, it's going to highlight it. So that is the over the course of the year, you can adjust it to 3 months or a year or all, as long as Keepa's been tracking this item, and you can get a good idea of what the average rank is. And for this particular product, it's pretty stable. So is what it was 3,700 right now. This is the rank number 5,000, and you can see right now it's right at about 3,700. A couple of days ago it was a little higher. It was maybe 5,000-6,000. But for the most part, try to get a try to look at the rank, this green chart over here, and kind of plot a straight line right across the average of it, and you can see this product has a pretty stable rank, and you can just look at it and kind of eyeball it and see that more or less the rank on this product kind of stable, and it is right around where the product is ranked today. Furthermore, on Keepa, they have this little statistics tab, and this is very helpful. If you hover the mouse over it, it'll tell you what the sales rank is, the column on the right. It'll tell you what the lowest sales rank is, what the current sales rank is, what the worst rank was over the last year, over however long Keepa has been tracking it. And then it'll give you the average rank over the last 90 days and the average rank over the last 180 days. And you guys can see on that far right column, average 90-day rank was 3881, average 180-day rank 3717, and it reflects in the, just by actually eyeballing this chart, it's more or less a straight line through here, and that's how you determine the average rank, and it is something that you want to pay attention on. RevSeller also gives it to you, so over here right at the top, you see the rank is 3734. but it gives you the 90-day average price and also the 90-day average rank. And that 90-day average rank from RevSeller is 3880. So let me show you guys a couple other examples. Here's that hairspray again. Let's look at the rank. So you can see, the rank is kind of stable. The rank today on this product is 386, very high ranked product, but the average rank is about 600. And you can just kind of, again, plot. You can hit the statistics button and see what the average rank is, or you can just eyeball it and see what is going on with the rank. And, it's more or less stable, but here's a good example. So this yellow shaded area, as you guys know, is Amazon on the listing. Amazon probably sells this product super cheap. Over here, we have this little white area where Amazon sold out and the third-party sellers probably jacked the price very high. Same thing right over here, a little brief window where Amazon sold out and the third-party sellers jacked the price very high. And you can see that reflects in the rank. So this product was selling super cheap. Amazon sold out. The rank probably, the price probably shot up a bunch and the rank got worse. Didn't get horrible. It's still around, 2,000 or 3,000, but the rank did get worse. Amazon came back on the listing, killed the price, rank went back down. Here we go again, and so on and so forth. So let me show you guys a couple of examples. Here is an item that is today ranked number 9469 in pet supplies. That's the RevSeller rank. Let's check the actual rank on the product page. So it says 10,434 in pet supplies. But when you're looking at the average rank, so you can see right over here, and I'll zoom in a little bit. So right over here, maybe someone lowered the price on the product. Maybe someone just bought a bunch of these products over the last couple of days. So you can see there was a drop in the rank, right? If you're looking at just the green part, it's more or less higher. It's right over here is around the average, right over here is around the average, and for whatever reason it dropped. So when you're looking at this product, it's important to note that this product is not really ranked 9,000. It was ranked 9,000 maybe this week or maybe today, but over the course of the last year or over the course of the last month, it'll have a different average rank. And looking at this product over the last year, you can kind of see, Amazon was in stock. It was ranked really low. Then Amazon went out of stock for an extended period of time. The average rank was right around here. People probably jacked up the price, as is reflected in the Keepa chart. So the rank shot up again. But you want to get an average idea of what is going on with the rank in general. And again, you have the RevSeller. This is an item that is $16.97, but average rank is about $14,000. You have this item, which the rank today on the Amazon page is 16,917, but according to Keepa, the average rank over the last 180 days is even better. It's 13,000, or over the last 90 days, it's even better. It's 14,000. So when making a buying decision, always use the average rank before you would use the actual rank today, because that is going to give you a better idea of the situation on these particular products. Now, the next thing that you want to look for is the estimated number of units sold per month. And you remember we touched on that a little bit when we were doing the research to find these suppliers, but very simple. If you want to get an estimate of how many units sold per month, one of the ways to do that is with Jungle Scout. You hit the Jungle Scout extension and it is going to say this product has 128 monthly sales. Again, some of these different softwares, one software, maybe Jungle Scout is going to show 128, maybe Helium 10 is going to show 228. These are just estimates that we use. The real data that you're going to have is when you are actually selling the product and you have the real concrete data from your sales. But again, when making these decisions, it's good to look at estimates, the number of units sold per month. If you're not using Jungle Scout, you can go to the Jungle Scout free estimator. You can enter the category, which in this case, the category would be musical instruments. You can enter the rank 3734 and it'll give you a estimate of roughly how many units these products are selling. And of course, when you're doing product research, you want to have an idea of what these products are selling per day, per month, per year. That'll help you make a better buying decision. So again, here's another product. Jungle Scout estimates this to have 4,900 monthly sales. Jungle Scout rather estimates this one to have 273 monthly sales, 13 sales a day. Jungle Scout estimates this to have 469 monthly sales, 16 sales a day. So that is how, guys, you estimate the number of units sold per month. The next thing we look at is the number of competitive sellers on a listing. And again, in the parentheses, competitive sellers, I define them as FBA sellers that are within 2% of the lowest FBA offer. You guys may remember how to do that from the last module, but again, let me just show you. So on any particular product listing, you can go to see other sellers on Amazon, see who is the low FBA product price. So in this case, it is this seller, 2601, and we want to use our calculator and just take 2601 plus 2%. Some people use 3%. I like to use 2%, but 2601 plus 2% equals 2653. So anyone who is selling this item FBA at 2653 is who I would consider a competitive seller. So 2653 or below, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. These guys are all above, and these guys, you know, with these guys selling it for 26 and this guy selling it for 28, this guy selling it for 30, they're really not competitive. So anyone who's 2% of the low FBA offer or below, in this case, that number comes out to 2653, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 competitive sellers. Conversely, if you are using the RevSeller app, RevSeller gives you that information. And RevSeller over here, it says close FBA, and there are 4 sellers within 2% of the lowest FBA price. That lowest FBA price is actually the 5th seller. So there's 4 within the lowest seller. That means 5. If we were going to be selling for the same price, we would be seller number 6. But on this listing, there are 5 competitive sellers currently in the situation. Now, the next thing that we want to look at is the estimated number of units that we can expect to sell. Again, this is something that you guys might remember from the last module, but the way we basically figure that out is we take the number of competitive sellers plus us. So in this last example, there are 5 competitive sellers selling it for that 2602 price, or within 2% of that 2602 price. There are 5 of them. If we wanted to be if we wanted to compete, we would be the 6th competitive seller. So it's basically the number of competitive sellers, in that example is 5 plus us, which is 6, and divide that by the total number of units estimated to be sold. So this particular product over here, let's see what Jungle Scout estimates. Jungle Scout estimates there are 475 units sold per month. Currently, there are 5 competitive sellers, so you would divide that between the 5 of them. But if you want to hop into the mix and you want to be the 6th competitive seller, you would take the number of monthly sales, number of units sold monthly, and you would divide that by 6. So the number of competitive sellers plus us, and you divide the estimated monthly sales by that number, 475 divided by 6, we could expect to sell roughly 79 units of this item if there are 6 sellers splitting 475 sales. Let me give you another example over here. So over here, there is 1 FBA seller within 2% of the low FBA sales price. Let me just do it manually as well. So the low FBA price is $45.99. Let's add 2% to that. $45.99 plus 2% is $46.91. So the only sellers that we're looking at is sellers who are at $46.91 and below, FBA sellers. And there are only 2 of them. So this listing has 2 competitive sellers. Again, you can see that with Rev Seller over here, it says there is 1 seller within 2% of the lowest FBA sales price. So that means there is 2 competitive sellers. We would be the 3rd. So what is the estimated number of units that we can expect to sell between the 3 of us if we hopped on this listing? So Jungle Scout estimates this item does 273 sales estimated per month. Divided by the 3 of us, we can expect to sell roughly 91 units per month. So that's another thing you want to look at, guys, when doing product research, is how many units can we expect to sell. Now, another thing we want to look at is the estimated gross sales. How much in dollar amount can we sell on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis? It's important also, and I'll show you guys why. So on this example, you hit Jungle Scout, and it's estimating that this particular product does $12,555 dollars in revenue per month. So 12,555, that's per month. Let's times that by 12. They are estimating this product to do about $150,000 in sales per year. And that's how you look at the gross revenue. Now, if there's 3 of us competing for those sales, if there's 3 competitive sellers, then you divide that number by 3, and you can expect to sell, if you're carrying this item, if you have it in stock all the time, you can expect to sell $50,000 of this particular item per year. And the reason why it's good to know these numbers or to look at these numbers, if you're making a profit margin of roughly 10% and you figured out that you can do, $50,000 in sales on this item per year, and your margin is 10% on it, then you can do, $10,000 in profit on this item. But it's good to look at these items and get an idea of what they're selling for a year, because you don't want to go through the hassle of getting an account or worrying about an item if it's only going to do 5,000 in sales per year. So very important to look at that. And let's go back to this Joico example for a second. And this item has 5 competitive sellers, and we would be the 6th. And let's see what the revenue is. So the revenue on this one is 12,360 times 12. So Amazon is also roughly the same, expecting around the 150,000 in sales, except our share of that would be a little lower because we would have the more competitive sellers. I know this item over here does a ton of sales. And when you're looking at an item like this, it does 56,000 in revenue per month. So 56,000, to round it down, times 12. This is an item that sells $672,000 worth estimated per year. And if it has two competing sellers within 2%, that means 3. Let's say we were competing on it and we would be the 4th. If this item is doing $672,000 in sales per year and there's 4 of us sharing those sales, this is an item that we can sell roughly estimated $168,000 worth per year. Now, what if your margin on this item is 10%? Low margin, but what if you're only making 10% on this item, but you figured out that you can sell 168,000 of it per year? 168,000 per year at 10%, that's almost $17,000 in profit on just one item. If you get yourself 10 items like that during the course of the year, you have a business that's making $170,000 net per year. So again, important to look at the estimated gross sales, monthly, yearly, annually, just to have an idea of how much it'll do. And another reason why that's important is For example, let's say you find an item that is huge margin. Let's say you find an item that is 50% margin, and whoa, it's 50% margin, but it only sells $3,000 per month, and it sells, $30,000 per year. And, you don't have unlimited funds, so you're going to make a buying decision, and you're looking at a couple of different items. Do you buy the item that sells $3,000 worth per month at a 50% margin, or do you buy the item that sells $300,000 per month at a 20% margin? The margins are less, but the turnover and the profits are higher, and that's why you want to get an idea of what these products are doing gross sales wise, and it'll help you make smarter, more educated decisions. Now, another thing that we want to look at, of course, is Amazon on these listings. We don't like to compete with Amazon most of the time. And if Amazon is on the listing, how often? So, a lot of times, and especially if you are using a list scanning software, you will, it'll spit out a product for you. Let's use this product as an example, or if this actually isn't a good example, let's say, for example, you are doing research on this product, and your list scanner says to you that this product is profitable for you, but you did the research right over here in this little sliver of time where Amazon was sold out, and you didn't know how to look at a stock at one of these items historically. You didn't know how to look back a year and see if Amazon is on the listing, and this thing shot up to $20 or whatever it is, and you're like, wow, this item's profitable, I'm going to buy it. But little do you know, Amazon is on this listing, literally over the last year. It looks like they're on the listing 90% of the time. So all the time when you're making a buying decision, it is important to look back for the last 3 months. It is important to look back for the last year and see how often Amazon is on the listing. Because again, you could look at a product today, it's profitable today, it looks like a hell of a buy today, you're going to buy it and you're going to triple your money, but Amazon was just in stock 2 weeks ago. And before that, they were in stock for 11 months straight. Is that a good buy? Not so much. So this is how you check if Amazon is on the listing, just by looking through the Keepa chart and seeing the yellow shaded area right over here, which is Amazon. And you can see this item, Amazon has been on this item, haven't even sold out for the last year. If you go back 2 years, more than 2 years, haven't even sold out. Look at this item, Amazon over the last year, on it 90% of the time. If you look at this item, here's a good item. This is something that's more or less acceptable. Amazon was in stock about a year ago. They were in stock just for a little sliver of time in December, but for most of the time, Amazon is out of stock on this item. Let's look at this Joico one. Amazon has never even sold this item over the last year, so that's great. They haven't sold it for the history of the listing, so that's great. A couple of other items over here, no Amazon except for this tiny little sliver, that's great. This cuticle remover, no Amazon at all except for a tiny little sliver over here, that's great. And another product over here, this lightning hairspray, no Amazon on it at all over the last year, no Amazon on it at all over the last couple of years, it looks like. So very important, one of the most important things to look at is Amazon on the listing? What is their history of the listing? How often they are on the listing? Another super important data point for you to look at, guys. Next, is the brand a seller on the listing? If so, are they the only seller on the listing? So again, you guys might remember from the previous module, we typically don't like to sell a product if the brand is a seller on the listing, unless there are 3 or more, unless it's the brand or 2 or more FBA sellers. If the brand is on the listing, but it looks like they're allowing other sellers on the listing, that's why we want to look at 2 or 3 or more additional sellers, then it works for us. But if it's just a brand on the listing, Why is that? We want to take a pause and analyze that. So checking every product that you're looking at and seeing, is the brand the seller on the listing, and if so, are they the only seller? That's another one of the things we want to take into consideration when identifying potential products. So let's look at a couple real quick. This is a product that's made by Samsung. You can see over here, Samsung Technologies. Is Samsung on the listing? I don't know. Let's check. Let's look at the buyer list. I know Amazon is on the listing, but Samsung does not appear to be on the listing. Let's look at this hairspray example. This is sold by Kenra, and you can see it says who the brand is right over here. This is sold by Kenra. Is Kenra a seller on the listing? It looks like they are not. How about this item, this Sentry brand pet pill, flea pill? Let's see if they are on the listing. They are not. And you guys basically get the gist. That's how you check to see if a brand is on the listing. This is a Joico brand product. Let me see if they're on the listing. They are not. So all of these would pass that check. The next thing we want to assess is what would be our list price. If we were selling this product today, what would be our list price? And this is how you figure out what your profit on a particular item is. And you can see in parentheses, we have match the FBA, the low FBA price, or 5 to 10% above a merchant fulfilled seller. So what that means is, let's go back to this example, for instance, and we want to see what the competitive sellers are, what the situation is. So this is currently being sold by JKC Products. They have the buy box. They're at $45.99. That means if they're the low FBA price, $45.99, $45.99, they are the low FBA price. That means we would be selling this product for $45.99. We don't want to do our research and pretend we would be selling this product at $55.99. I mean, we could list it for $55.99 and it would be a lot more profitable, but we wouldn't get any sales because we wouldn't be competing. So we want to match whenever you're, doing product research and you're looking at one of these products that you have access to, you need to ask yourself, what would be our current list price? What is the price that we would be selling this product for right now? And that is matching. We don't want to lower. We don't want to, get into a price war where we're undercutting. We simply want to match the low FBA price. So in this case, we would be selling this item also at $45.99. In the case of this item, this is sold by Amazon, so we wouldn't even mess with it. In the case of this item, this is also sold by Amazon, but you guys get the gist. We are looking to match the low FBA price. This product over here is sold by Beauty Line for $26.02. If I wanted to calculate how profitable would I be, I wouldn't be calculating it at $39 or at $40. I would be counting it at $26.02. I would be matching the low FBA price. Now let's see if that is in fact the low FBA price. The low FBA price is actually $26.01. So that would be my list price, $26.01. And then, for example, you can go into the Amazon FBA calculator if you're doing it manually, and you can take this ASIN and you can paste it into the Amazon FBA calculator, and it'll ask you what price are you going to sell it at, and you're going to type in $26.01 and you're going to hit calculate, and it's going to say if you're selling it for $26.01, which is where you want to be if you're competing for that buy box, you're going to be left with $17.30 net to you if you're selling this thing at $26.01. Again, you can list it for whatever you want. You can list it for $39.95 and it's much more profitable, but you're not going to get the buy box, and it's all about competing for the buy box. So we want to match the lowest FBA offer. In this case, it's $26.01. Cool thing about RevSeller, is when you're using the RevSeller extension, it'll automatically populate the low FBA offer over here. In this case, it did 2602. So you can see that's where we would be selling it at. And I will show you how to do it manually. So let's say you were doing 2601 over here. You hit calculate. You're left with 1730. Cost of product, if you're buying this product for, let's say, $10, you hit calculate again, you are left with a profit of $730. Cool thing with the RevSeller, again, it'll put that low FBA offer, it'll already populate it over here, and it'll tell you you are left with $17.31. And then if you want, you can enter your buy cost over here. So if you enter, let's say this product costs us $12, for example, it'll say you're left with a profit of $5.31, and then it'll give you the ROI or the margin. But again, you could do it manually if you want to use the Amazon FBA calculator. And now, over here, I also wrote match FBA, which is what we want to do, or 5 to 10% above merchant fulfilled sellers. And what this means, if you're on a listing or if you want to be on a listing and you're doing product research and you can sell an item and it's a product that you can sell and everything all checks out that way, but there is no FBA sellers on it and you would be the only FBA seller on that particular listing, you do not need to match the merchant fulfilled seller. So if someone is selling a product, for example, for $20 and they're merchant fulfilled, if you're going to be selling an FBA, you don't need to sell it for $20 also. You don't need to match them. If you are competing against a merchant fulfilled seller, you could list your product anywhere from 5 to 10% above that merchant fulfilled seller's price and still get the buy box. So for example, if a merchant fulfilled seller is the only competitive seller on the listing and they're selling a product for $20, you can probably list that product for $22 for as much as 10% above him and still get the buy box the majority of the time. So that is one of the things to consider. The next thing to consider is what is our profit at the current list price. Of course, naturally, you want to see what you can sell the product for, what price do you need to be to get the buy box, and then what will be your profit. So that's the example that we just did. We need to be selling this product at $26.02. What is our profit? Well, do the math. $26.02 or $26.01, hit calculate. What is your buy cost? If your buy cost is $10 and you're selling it for $26.01, the Amazon calculator says you're left with $7.30. If you're selling it for $26.01, however, and your buy cost for this item is $15, you are left with a profit of $2.30. So that's how you figure out profit. It's basically what you need to be selling the product at to be competitive. What is the matching the FBA price minus the fees minus your buy cost. That is going to be your net profit, not taking into account any other expenses like overhead or whatnot. So I'll give you an example. This product over here, the low FBA price, the price in the buy box, $45.99, and RevSeller populates it here manually for you, automatically rather, $45.99. You could do it in the calculator and it leaves this box blank for you to put in your buy cost. At $45.99, after Amazon takes all their fees, all their commissions, you're left with $36.37. That's what Amazon is going to pay you if you sell this product at $45.99. The rest is how much did it cost you. If it cost you $15, you made $21 on it. If it cost you, $28, you made $8 on it. That's basically how you determine the profit on a on a listing. Again, you can do it if you don't have RevSeller. You can do it manually. Just pop the ASIN into the Amazon calculator. What is the price that it's selling for? The list price, the price that we need to be competitive at. It's $45.99. You put in $45.99 into the calculator. You hit enter. and it will tell you what you are left with net. You are left with $36.67 minus your buy cost from that. That is going to be your profit, and that's how you figure that out. The next thing we want to look at is what is the ROI? What is our return on investment at the current list price? And again, the calculator will tell you that. So if you are, if your cost for this product is 15 bucks, and you're listing it at $45.99, it'll tell you what your net profit, what your net margin is. So in this case, it's a 21% ROI. And RevSeller will do the same thing for you guys. So we're selling this product at $45.99. Let's say that our cost is $28. We are left with $867 net, and that is an ROI of 31% or a margin of 19%. Return on investment on the $28 that we are spending buying the product is 31%, and the margin from the whole sale is 19%. And the reason why that margin is good, it's good to know the ROI and the margin, is because if you estimate the annual sales, for example, so in this product, it was $12,647 times 12. So Jungle Scout is estimating $151,000 in sales, and we're going to split this 3 ways. So divided by 3, we're estimating that we can roughly do a little over $50,000 in sales with this product. If we know that our margin is 19%, we can easily see, well, we are going to sell $50,000 of this product per year times 0.19. We are going to make roughly $9,600 annually on this product, and that's why it is good to know the ROI and the margin as well. Now, the next thing that we want to check is the listing price stable? And it says in parentheses, check the average price. So what do I mean by that? Is the listing price stable? We want to look at Keepa and see where the price is. So you can see over here, all this colorful stuff over here, especially when you hover the mouse over new third-party FBA, these little triangles are the new third-party FBA offers, and in general the sales where they are taking place, where the buy box is. You can see I'm moving the mouse across it now, so it's selling over here, little blip. At this point in time, it was a little higher, then it went back down. It's selling over here, it's selling over here, it's selling over here, and then it looks like in May, in the middle of May, this particular product, the flea pill or whatever it is, the flea potion, it jumped up, and now it's selling right around over here. So the reason why we want to check if the price is stable is because you might be looking at a product that at this point in time is selling at $46, but for the other 360 days in the year, this product is selling at $35 or at $30 or at $25. So even though you're looking at it today and you're saying, geez, at $46, I could make $867 on it. If 90% of the time this product does not sell for $46, but it sells for $26, and it sells for $26 most of the time, does it really mean much that it's at $46 today? I mean, what are the odds if, you see this at 46 and you decide, hey, I'm going to buy this thing, it's at 46 today. What are the odds that it's going to go back down to $20 if that's where it's been selling for 90% of the time? So that's why you want to check what the profit is on the listing today. That's very important. But even more important, you want to go back. You want to check the price stability. You want to see where the average price is. Where does this product sell for the majority of the time? And then figure out, what kind of profit, what kind of ROI are we going to make at that point in time? So let's look at this for an example. So we can look at this 1-year chart on Keepa. Over here, only since May, for about the last 3 months, this product is selling a lot higher. You can see it right over here and right over here. This is where most of the sales are happening, especially in the last couple of weeks. It's happening right over here. You can hover the mouse over it, and it says new third-party FBA $45.99, which is where we're looking at now, $45.99. But looking into the history, is the average price of this product. Is it along this line right here, or is the average price of the product along this line? If you were selling this product over the last year, are the chances are you are going to sell it down here closer to $30? I mean, that's a huge difference. Or is, the chances are that you are going to sell it over here? Tough to say, but looking at this product and looking at the average price, there's a pretty good shot, guys, that you look at this product, it's 46 bucks, you think it's profitable, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to buy it and you're going to send it to Amazon FBA, and within, a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks of it getting there, it's going to go right back down to this price, which is, close to 30. Look at that. New third-party FBA, 30. So you're going to buy it thinking you're selling it for $46, and then you're going to be stuck with it because you're going to send it to Amazon, and most of the time it's selling at this. So you want to always look at price stability. Another thing that you want to look at, what is our profit? What is our ROI at the average price? Because that is how we make sure we make good buying decisions and not get fucked over. Sorry for the curse word over there, but yeah, that's pretty much the way that I put it. Again, you're doing research, you see this item, it's at 46 bucks. Let's say we pay $25 for it. You're doing research. Hey, this thing is at 46 bucks. The rank is good. There's no Amazon. I get it for $25. Look at this, $11 profit. I'm the best. ROI 47%, margin 25%. This thing looks good. Let me buy $5,000 worth of it. You buy it, you label it, you send it to Amazon. Soon as it gets there, you look at the listing. Holy crap, this thing is at 30 bucks. How did that happen? At 30 bucks, I'm losing money. So you want to see where the average sales are, and more importantly, if you end up selling it at the average, are you going to break even? Are you going to make a couple of bucks? If you're still going to make a couple of bucks at the average, maybe it's worth the risk. But if at the average you're losing money and 90% of the time it's selling at the average, it might be something you want to shy away from, no matter how good it looks today. So let's kind of figure out what the average is. And there's a couple of ways you can do it. So RevSeller, they have a 90-day average. So the 90-day average for a third-party seller, 3P, is $40.60. And it also gives you the Amazon average, but let's use the $40 average. And now let's confirm that on the Keepa chart. So a couple of ways to do it. You can just eyeball it over here, and you can see it's actually lower. Here's 30, and you can see it's kind of 30. Sometimes it goes higher. Just run the mouse across, and you can see the new third-party FBA, $29. It jumps up a little bit. And you can also hit the statistics button, and it'll say what the average price is for new. That's that second column right over there. So the average price over the last 90 days is $40.60, and over the last 180 days, it's $34. So again, if you're paying $25 for this item today, it looks great, and people will say, hey, buy it, flip it, and you know what? Maybe the trend since May still looks good. It looks around here, but over the longer term, over the last year, the trend is much less. And you guys want to at least look at what is our profit? What is our return on investment if, God forbid, knock on wood, you have to sell it there. So you want to take that into consideration. It's 46 bucks right now, but what if we have to sell it at 38? Then we're making $4.88. You know what? I'm looking at it. It sells for $40, $38 most of the time. Worst case, if I have to sell it for $38, it'll be all right. I'll still make $4.88 on each. That'll be okay. But at least you're looking at it and you're taking into consideration. What if the average, what if most of it is down here at 30 bucks? What if the average is $33? Now you're barely making anything after shipping and expenses and labor and prep and all of that. So you really want to take into consideration what is our average profit and ROI at the average price. Same thing for all of these items. You want to see kind of like, look at this item over the last, since April, it's trending a little higher, especially in June and July. It's even more higher up here. But if you were to draw a line, is this the average up here? No, it's not. It looks like most of the time over the last year, the average is all the way down here. And if you were to plot it out, maybe this is the average. So again, it's important to know what you would be making on it right now, because right now, that's where we're at. But you want to go back and look, what is the trend? What is the average price? Where has this product been over the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? And if I have to sell this at the average price, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be able to liquidate it and make a little bit or get my money back? Or if this thing goes to the average price, like for instance, it's today at $26.02. Let's say we get it for $12. We're left with $5.31. But what if the average, according to this, is 20? So what if we had to sell it at 20? Now we're at 19-cent profit. Now we're probably losing money. Let's look at these statistics over here. What if you had to sell it most of the time up until January? Most of the time, this was a product that was selling for $19. What if you buy it and you send it to Amazon and now you have to sell it at $19? Now you're losing money. So again, you don't want to, you want to obviously make the decision on whether or not to buy it based on the current price, which is $26.02, but you want to go back, analyze the history, look at what the average price is, because that's going to help you from buying these products that you're going to buy here and then you're going to send to Amazon and they're going to end up sitting over here and you're going to end up taking a loss on it. And one of the last things that we want to look at is assess the prep and shipping estimate. How much does it impact your ROI and your profit? And what that basically means is this is where we take a look at the type of product that it is and you assess what type of prep work needs to be done. Meaning, is this a simple product where you slap a label on it and it takes you 1 to 2 seconds each and you're done? Or is this a liquid where you need to polybag it and it takes you a little bit more time? Is this a glass item where you need to bubble bag it or bubble wrap it and it's fragile and it can break? Is this a bundle that will require lots of prep, pairing multiple items together? Is it a product that is something that is very big and very heavy? If so, you have to take that into account, because when you're shipping it to Amazon, if, for example, each individual unit is something, not like that shampoo, if each individual unit is super heavy, if you're selling air conditioners, for example, something really big and really heavy may impact your margins. If you're only making, $6 on an item, but it costs you $5 to ship it to Amazon because you're selling an air conditioner or a television set or something very, very heavy, you have to keep things like that in mind. Also, is it a very fragile item? Is it something that, is going to break often in shipping? Is it something that is going to get a lot of complaints or a lot of customer returns? These are all things that you need to keep in mind when looking at an item. Those examples that we used, we didn't have anything really weird or anything like that. But, if you're selling a glass dish set, or if you're selling bottles of something, or if you're selling an item that is, 10, 20 pounds, that's really going to impact your shipping cost either to you or to Amazon. So you have to always take that in mind. Aside from that, in general, when we're dealing with more or less smallish or standard size items. Another thing that you want to consider and factor in is the cost of your overhead and your prep per item. So for example, your supplies. Do you have a warehouse? Are you paying rent? Are you paying a packer to label for you? Do you send your items to a prep center? If so, you need to take in all these little fees into account, because for instance, we just had that example. It was, a $6 profit net on the listing. But if you have, if you're paying rent and you have supplies and you have a warehouse and you have an employee, it's not really $6 because each item has that additional overhead fee. So typically a standard item overhead cost, conservatively, you can estimate your expenses at anywhere from 75 cents to $2 average, depending on your volume and the type of operation you are running. But you should always keep your expenses in the back of your mind. If you think you're making $4 a sale, and again you have rent and staff and all that stuff is broken down into your sales, that might be $3 an item. So you're really only making $1. So until you do a thorough breakdown of all your costs, conservatively, I like to estimate expenses at anywhere between 75 cents to $2, depending on the type of volume you are doing. Lastly, can the listing be improved? And this is not really for these high rank examples that we are looking at, but once you are looking at products and the ranks and the sales are on the lower side, on the slower side, when the ranks are not that great, you want to check out if there is room for improvement. Are the pictures good? How many pictures are there? Is the title good? Is there bullets? Is there description? When you're looking at something that is not ranked so well but is profitable, you want to see if you can improve the listing to get it selling more and to turn that product around. And again, continuing education will have videos on that. So these are the main data points that we look at when analyzing products. This is not the process of analyzing products, but I want you guys to understand my mind thought and where I'm coming from when looking at all these products and all these individual components, and knowing how to find and analyze all of them will for sure help you make better buying decisions. All right. Now, lastly, product criteria checklist. And I want to start this slide by saying this product criteria is not set in stone. This is a generalized view of the type of things you should be aiming for, the type of things you should be looking for. But by the end of this module, you should be able to tweak, product criteria, this product criteria checklist, and adjust it to what works best for you. But this is just a rough guide. It is not set in stone. So this is my criteria, my recommended criteria for you when you guys are doing product research, when you're looking these products up on Amazon. This is what you should be looking for. 20% minimum ROI. That is, again, minimum. In parentheses, you see I recommend 30% or higher for those with less capital, but the absolute minimum that you should be looking for, in my opinion, is 20% minimum ROI. And again, guys, everything has exceptions. If there's an item where, has zero prep and you can move thousands of units per month and you really don't have to do much and it's making 15% and you have the money and you can afford it, go for it. That's what I mean by this product criteria is not set in stone. It is a rough guide, and hopefully by the end of module number 4, you will be able to tweak this to where it makes sense for you. But if you're just starting out, 20% minimum ROI, 30% recommended, and higher for those with less capital. If you're starting wholesale and you only have $3-4 grand, you should be looking for things that are even above 30%, for things that are 40% and above. The less money you have, the more kind of stingy, the more discerning you want to be with it. Next, $3.50 minimum profit. Doesn't matter what the ROI is, we want to make at least $3.50 minimum on everything, because again, we have overhead. If you have staff, if you have supplies, if you have a warehouse space that you're paying for, if you have a prep center that you're paying for, if you're making 100% ROI on a product, but it's $1 product and you're only making $1 profit on it, you might end up losing money. So you need at least that minimum $3.50 profit to cover all your fees and expenses. Again, in parentheses, I wrote with exceptions. There are items that I sell that cost me, $1 or $1.25, and I make a $2 profit on it, and I'm doubling my money, but there's not a lot of prep. I get it in, I get it out very quick. There's not a lot that goes into it. It doesn't cost me a lot in overhead. I do 1, 2, 3. So again, there are exceptions to all of these rules, but as a general rule, $3.50 minimum profit. Next, our estimated number of units sold should be greater than 20 units per month, with exceptions. You guys, again, know how to check that. That is the total number of competitive sellers plus us, and you take the total number of sales estimates and you divide that by the number of competitive sellers plus us, and that'll give you a rough estimate of how many units we are selling. And a good place to start is you want to buy items that will sell more than 20 units per month minimum. Again, there are exceptions, but that is our starting point. Next is the product rank should be below or around the category max. Again, with exceptions. But what does that mean? Below this video, I will be attaching basically a list of all the categories and what I recommend as the maximum rank product you should be looking for. Again, that's just a guide. If I say maximum rank 50,000 and you see something at 60,000, 70,000, go for it. These are not set in stone. It's just something to give you guidance that when you're looking at a list with, hundreds of products and all of them are above the category max, you can just skip it and go on to researching something else. So product ranked below or around the category max. Again, if my recommendation for a category is maximum rank of 50, you can buy something 60, you can buy something 70,000. You can look at listings and improve them and get them selling. It's just a rough guide to help you on your journey. Next, the average product rank. Even more important, should be below or around that average, that category maximum rank level. Next, Amazon should not be on these listings. In parentheses, Amazon should not be on the listing at least 50% of the time. If you're doing that keeper research and Amazon is on the listing 60% of the time, 70% of the time, 80, 90% on the time, you should probably pass. Again, every listing is different. There are exceptions to every rule. That is just the way I look at it. Amazon shouldn't be on these listings. We don't want to compete with Amazon. They kill the price on everything. But if you see some Amazon history on the listing, a good place to start is make sure they are not on the listing at least 50% of the time. Next, the brand should not be the only seller on the listing. It should be the brand plus 3 FBA sellers minimum. It can be 2 FBA sellers minimum, but definitely avoid products where the brand is the only seller, and that'll hopefully prevent you from getting in trouble. Next, list price should be above 15 bucks. Again, there are exceptions, but we typically look to sell products that are selling for $15 or greater. Again, exceptions to everything. I sell items for $10, $11, but these are items that I might pay $1 for, $1.50 for. But a general place to start, we want to sell products that are roughly trading at 15 bucks or more. The more expensive products, the more higher ticket products, the more margin, the more room for error, the better luck you guys are going to have with it. Next, check your profit and your return on investment, your ROI, against the average price. Do this all the time. Look at the product's average and say, hell, if someone kills the price or it goes back to that average price, am I going to be okay? What am I going to be making If I'm selling it at the average price, does that work for me? Does it not? Use that to help you make your decision. Of course, next, can I sell this product? That is something we always need to know before we spend a lot of time researching some stuff. Can the listing be improved? These are for those higher ranked products. So I spoke about the maximum limits for ranks in particular categories. You can go above that. And when we're looking at products that are not, don't have the best ranks, can we improve them? Some of my best products have been products that were ranked 100,000, 150,000, but I had reason to believe that I can tweak the listings, get them selling, get them optimized, and turn them into really good listings where I'm one of the only sellers on. So that's something that we always want to check. Can the listing be improved? And in parentheses, I wrote for higher ranked products because when you're looking at some of the example type products that we just had, things that are ranked really, really well, even if the listings are not great, I typically don't like to mess with products that are already ranked well, good listing or bad, because if they are ranked well, I don't want to do something that could negatively impact that. Another thing, assess your prep and shipping. Estimate, is the product heavy? Is the product fragile? How is this going to impact my ROI and my profit? So that's my rough criteria, guys, when going through lists. These are what I am looking for. I know this module is a little bit on the long side, and people always tell me I should make these videos 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but realistically, I can't teach you guys how to build a, hopefully, God willing, 7 or 8 figure Amazon business by keeping these videos dumbed down and, 5 or 10 minutes at a clip. So I apologize for the long video, but I am trying to pour my heart out to you guys and give you as much knowledge as I can. This is my product criteria checklist. Now that I have explained all the different components, all the bits and pieces, all the data points that we have access to that we can look at, now I am going to show you in the next series of videos how to actually do the process, how to take these lists, how to take these catalogs, and we are going to research them together so you can see all of this information, all of this stuff actually put into practice. So that is it for this video, guys, and I am super excited to see you guys on the next series of videos where we are going to put this stuff to work, and I am going to show you how to do the actual process of researching these products and make some buying decisions. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.